You're welcome to this our live session. We are giving you update as far as Cameroon's presidential election is concerned. Now, the opposition parties in Cameroon are actually acting as though they have been formed to further give President Paul Biya's victory. We have one of the most unserious opposition parties that have ever existed in the history of African politics, and not to talk about the world's politics. It is very sad. It is very sad to see how instead of Cameroon's opposition opposing the ruling government or opposing President Paul Biya or opposing the policies set aside by President Paul Biya, Cameroon's opposition parties are very, very unserious. Now, campaigns have officially been launched in Cameroon's October 12 presidential election. When the registration process was ongoing, where candidates were called upon to deposit their documents to compete for this year's presidential election in Cameroon, several calls were being made by Cameroonians who believe that they have been they have been deceived for far too long, and they have been living in a system that is anarchy, and that system that does not actually present the best option for its people. Many Cameroonians said they were tired, and they are tired of the ruling of President Paul Biya, who has been in power since 6th of November 1982. You calculate that it gives you 43 years. So many Cameroonians were of the opinion that only a strong and veritable opposition coalition can actually defeat President Paul Biya, who is currently 92 years of age and has been ruling the country for 43 years. And if he actually wins this election, Cameroon's president will end the mandate at 99 years. That is a mandate of Cameroon's presidential term is 7 years. So he's 92 years. I mean, if he wins this election, he'll actually end the mandate at 99 years. Now, I am going somewhere. After the general campaigns were actually launched yesterday, several observations have been made from some key political parties. It is very sad to see how, instead of these opposition parties to come together, they have decided that they want to oppose each other. And it is now posing the question, how much of these opposition parties are actually opposition? Were they sent to actually give President Paul Biya a resounding victory? I'll give you on a case-by-case basis. On Saturday, the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Honorable Joshua Nambagiosi, launched his campaign in Bamenda. And in Bamenda, when he launched his campaign, it was an occasion for him to actually explain his vision to the peace-loving people of Bamenda, the northwest region, to explain how and what they need to do to make sure that they vote for him. Instead, while he spent some of the time to talk about his policies, the rest of the time was to attack other opposition leaders, notably Issa Chiruma Bakari and Bello Buba. In fact, Issa Chiruma Bakari has become the main target by some of these younger candidates who believe that it is only them that has the power to rule Cameroon. Because they did not see Issa Chiruma Bakari coming, they were so comfortable thinking that they have the population, but not knowing that the population know who they will trust and who they think will have the possibility of winning an election. They spend their time in Bamenda condemning Issa Chiruma Bakari, how he has come to he is a government agent, he has done this, he has done that, he has done that. Now, my question is, how will opposition in Cameroon be insulting another opposition, spending the rest of their time to insult another opposition, rather than putting that energy to counteract that of President Paul Biya and his regime that has been able to plunge Cameroon into a quagmire? As we speak, earlier in September this month, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, released a statement warning that Cameroon is debt trapped, that the rate at which the Cameroon government has borrowed, if Cameroon government need to start paying back the debt, it means that the Cameroon's economy will collapse. That was IMF. That was 2 weeks ago. Now, dear brothers and sisters, as IMF gave their warning, any normal country, the leaders would have taken the warning of IMF and see how they can consolidate their economy. But what happened in return? The government of Cameroon, just a day after IMF gave the warning, instead increased their level of borrowing. Immediately, Cameroon's president, Paul Biya, signed that the sum of 135 billion CFA should be actually borrowed. Now, it did not take long. The next day, Cameroon's president signed that the sum of 300 billion be borrowed. It did not still take long. 2 days later, Cameroon's president signed that the sum of 107 billion be borrowed. This borrowing is just within the span of a month. They have borrowed over 500 billion CFA. Now, you see that kind of level of borrowing. And before the year goes out or runs out, we are sure that Cameroon government will borrow over 1 trillion. Now, instead of these opposition parties in Cameroon to see how they can actually target those issues, to see how they can actually hold President Paul Biya's regime to task by convincing Cameroonians why President Paul Biya has failed, these opposition parties in Cameroon have spent their time, and they keep spending their time now in the campaign trail, to insult and to attack fellow opposition parties. It is very sad. It is highly appalling. In fact, it is cacophonic. It is kind of, it paints a picture. It now makes us to understand that Jeune Afrique was right to say that Cameroon has the dumbest opposition in Africa. The dumbest opposition in Africa Cameroon has. Because, let me further explain you some details here. Today, which happens to be Sunday, the 28th of September 2025, Honorable Cabral B, actually of PCRN, moved his campaign to the Littoral region. He had his campaign today in Douala. Now, the shocking issue is that Cabral B, instead of spending his time to explain to Douala people and those who came for the rally and those who were watching online to understand how Cabral B, was going to advance Cameroon economy, how he was coming to remedy the situation under which President Paul Biya's regime has put Cameroon into, Cabral B spent 90% of his time in his rally today, Saturday, to insult Issa Chiruma Bakari. Cabral B spent all of his time to insult Issa Chiruma Bakari. Oh, Issa Chiruma Bakari has gone up. Oh, Issa Chiruma Bakari has gone down. Oh, Issa Chiruma Bakari should not be trusted. Oh, Issa Chiruma Bakari is a regime, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Issa Chiruma Bakari is this, is that, is that. And I asked the question, that is it Issa Chiruma Bakari that is President Paul Biya? Why are these younger opposition candidates scared of Issa Chiruma Bakari than President Paul Biya? There are two things. Either these young candidates are supporting President Paul Biya. In fact, that's my assertion. Because you cannot expect that somebody like Cabral B, who has the mandate given by the Constitutional Council to actually vying for a position to replace President Paul Biya, spend 90% of his time in his rally to condemn Issa Chiruma Bakari. Issa Chiruma Bakari is not the one that has plunged Cameroon into darkness. It is President Paul Biya. But Cabral B, to him, that is not the problem. It is Issa Chiruma Bakari to Cabral B that's the problem. Cabral B spent his time to insult Issa Chiruma. Issa Chiruma should not be trusted. The same Cabral B has not told us how he got contact with Atanganakuna, how he was able to be brought to PCRN. We all watch in Actualité Hebdo when Paul Atanganji, Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration, said that it was Cabral B that came to him and he took Cabral B's hand and went and gave it to Kuna. We watch how Atanganji said that. But today, Cabral B, instead of focusing on his policies, his agenda, such that the younger people can actually see and say, okay, we support you, we will do this, that's why we campaign for you. He spent the rest of his time to attack Issa Chiruma Bakari. I was so vexed today when I watched the rally that an opposition is spending, especially a younger candidate. It now makes me to ask this question. Are we really serious? This opposition, are they really serious? Are they not instead regime's party? Because if an opposition spends time attacking an opposition, it means that this opposition party is a government agent. Because you know, imagine that in a nation that has spent, that many Cameroonians are saying that their president has not been able to deliver. As I'm talking to you, the situation of roads in Cameroon is preposterous, is horrible, is holabaloo. If you move from littoral region to the southwest region, the road is terribly terrible. You move from the southwest region, you say, okay, let me enter some key divisions in the southwest region. It is terrible. If you say, okay, let me go to the northwest region, it's a story of another day. Major divisions of the northwest region don't have route. I'm talking about Njikwa, Emwa, Nkun, Menka, Gwo, Batibo, Oshe, Atong, Nkun, Akaninku. You go to Ngokitunja division, it's the same. The worst is even in the northern part of Cameroon. The other time we watched how Minister Paul Atanganji went to the north. He drove himself to the north. Mr. Paul Atanganji actually went to the north, saw the road situation in the north, and said, and I quote, he said, he drove himself for several hours. Mr. Paul Atanganji said, the roads are bad. And he himself said he was going to write a special report and send to the head of state. So Cabral Libi did not see that one. Cabral Libi did not actually, instead of taking his time to explain the road network situation in Cameroon, how he will remedy it, he spent 90%, I'm telling you that he spent 90% of his time attacking Issa Chiruma Bakari. 90% attacking Issa Chiruma. And in all of Issa Chiruma's Bakari rally, to know how you can trust somebody, Chiruma should be trusted, no politician should be trusted. But at this time, Cameroonians just need that the Bias regime to go. Let me shock you. Even if it was Minister Paul Atanganji that had resigned, if Minister Paul Atanganji is the one that had resigned and decided that he wants to challenge President Pobia, let me assure you, Cameroonians will vote for him. Because at this moment, they just need that this Bias era should go. Am I saying you should trust Chiruma? No, but as it stands now, you need a thief to catch a thief. You need a system person to destabilize the system. Changes politically don't just come from the sky. It is not someone who, an outsider cannot change a system that has been there for 43 years. That is what Cameroonians need to understand. And when I hear people say, oh, Cabral Libi is of the system, Issa Chiruma is of the system, has worked with the system. Who is not of the system? I was sad to see Cabral Libi and Joshua Osi doing the same kind of stuff. Who is not of the system? Who has never been of the system? Who? Okay, let us simply ask a simple question. If you look at the salary of members of parliament, look at their salary, divide their salary by the number of months that they have been in parliament, then ask yourself, where is Cabral Libi having money to buy the cars that he has? Some people say, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. If you call yourself an opposition, your one target is Bia. One thing I've remarked about Issa Chiruma Bakari is that in all of his rally, he has never attacked any opposition party. He has actually been calling for unity to remove President Pobia. SDF chairman the other day spoke with Mimi Mefo, told Mimi Mefo that he will never go into a coalition with someone that has worked with the Bias regime. That he will never go into a coalition with somebody that has anything to do with the Bias regime. Someone that has actually pushed or that has fought for the existence of the Anglophone crisis. And what also got me so angry was with the statement that Honorable Joshua Osi used, that even if those same persons come to him to offer support for a coalition, he will reject it. An opposition that says that somebody come to you that wants to support you, let's remove President Pobia, that he will reject it because he has values. This is an opposition. This is an opposition that wants to remove President Pobia. No outsider can actually remove President Pobia and destabilize the system. Do you know why it needs an insider to destabilize the system? Especially someone that has been there for long, because there are some roads that he knows very well. That this road leads to this road, this road to lead to this road. If you are an outsider, it will be difficult for you to actually close down those roads because you first of all don't know they exist. Whether we like it or not, you need an insider. You need someone that has been in the system to break down the system. Look at all presidents who have been sit tight. They were removed by people in the system. Mobutu Sese Seko was removed by somebody in the system. Mobutu is worst that have ever existed. Look at Mobutu. Let's go to Yaya Jammeh. Anybody that has been in the system, now to hear that an opposition candidate like Cabral Libi especially will go to a rally and spend his entire campaign time to criticize Chiruma. Ayeba. Somebody call it boo. You don't need to tell me that this guy or these guys are not regime's people. Because, as it stands now, let me be very honest with you, Anglophone candidates themselves have failed the Anglophone community. How do you explain the fact that we have 3 Anglophone candidates? These Anglophone candidates know that Anglophone people have been talking about an Anglophone president. Instead of them coming together to see how they can support each other to build one Anglophone front, such that if they can build one Anglophone front, they can now go and negotiate that with Chiruma or Bello to see that, okay, this is what the Anglophone voice is. They instead resign and go and join. I take it, join Bello. Akere has joined Bello instead of joining the 3 to come together. And very soon now you say, no, we need an Anglophone president. How will you need an Anglophone president when the Anglophone themselves don't trust each other? They don't trust each other. Any rightful politician, instead, while Bello, Buba, and Chiruma are fighting to come together so that they can have one front, our Anglophone brothers are inside calling for Bello, Buba, and inside Chiruma to come together so that they can support them. Let me be honest with you. Please, those of you watching us, I thank you for your comment. If you want to support our channel, we'll be happy. You can support our channel. We'll drop you our number. If you think that you can support our channel through mobile money or any source, we'll be glad. And if you think that we're creating an impact, do well, like, share, comment on our video. And I don't have too much time today to talk about this issue because I need to have a TikTok live session to give full update. So, let me be very honest with you. See, this presidential election, Cameroonians have only one choice. If you say you vote only for a coalition, no problem. Form a coalition of voters. The voters are the ones that will decide who they will vote for, not those charades. I will say in all honesty, Cabral Libi is not a politician. He is someone that is there to destabilize the opposition. Because that act that he did today is the same thing that Joshua also will go and do. Condemning Chiruma, I don't know what they find against Chiruma. It's Chiruma President Pobia that they would prefer that President Pobia should be there than Isha Chiruma destabilizing the system. I don't understand. I don't really understand. Is Chiruma the problem? That people will see President Pobia and the way in which this government authorities are eating money, the impunity in which they are grinding our money is so provocating and tears dropping. November session of the parliament will come. They will increase taxes because they have borrowed a huge amount of money. They will increase taxes. And will keep paying. Who could have thought that will pay mobile money tax? Who would have thought that in Cameroon you pay tax to kill an animal? Some of you don't know. Any animal, according to the law, if you have to kill a cock, it's 250. You have to kill a goat, it's 1,500. You have to kill a cow, it's 5,000. You stay you sleep in a 5-star hotel, you pay extra tax of 10,000. Buy any, or you could buy any, you could buy any. You pay an extra tax of 10,000. You stay in a 4-star hotel, 5,000. 3-star hotel, 3,000. To 1-star hotel, 1,000. You see this November, these people, they take money, they spend anyhow, they go to a Crystal Palace, they shut down the entire Crystal Palace, take rooms, and whether you like it or not, when we say people should go and vote, they say no, voters need to come now and decide who they want to vote for. If you decide, they are the voters now that should form their coalition. Voters should form coalition of voters. Coalition of voters should come together and start championing who they want to vote for. Somebody can pick up this cause and start an online and so person. You see, Kabara Libi is in fact, Kabara Libi is not opposition. I can say it from my observation. Because no genuine opposition party will insult a fellow, will take 90% of the time to insult. What if tomorrow Mr. Chiruma say, okay, I want to support you? What if tomorrow the opposition say that I want to support you, Kabara Libi? What if tomorrow Mr. Chiruma says I want to support Kabara Libi? Why do this young opposition just go around making noise? When I say they are not politically mature, some people will say that I claim to overknow. Why would I not overknow with an issue that is but obvious? That stick to your agenda, stick to your plan. You have a lot to discuss in a campaign rally. You have economy, you have economy, you have culture, you have sports, you have infrastructure, you have the form of the state, you have health sector, you have the agriculture sector, you have the small and medium price sector, you have the energy sector, you have the mining sector. You have a lot to discuss when you are on a campaign trail. You also have a lot to talk about how you will secure your vote. How you will secure your vote. You also have to explain how they will vote. You also have to explain why they should vote. But you spend the rest of the time explaining Chiruma's life in your rally, Kabara Libi. Anybody watching this video, I want you to forward it. I'm in a debate. I will debate. I can debate and Kabara Libi cannot stand me in that kind of a debate. Spend time to explain your policies, your manifesto to the people, so the people should own you. But instead, you are criticizing Chiruma because you are afraid that your people are going towards Chiruma. If you think that Chiruma is a force, then why can't you join him? Join him and make Bia go, because Chiruma is even proposing Chiruma has a better plan for transition. 3 to 5 years. Bring down the constitution, push for a constitutional amendment whereby voters registration, people will be 18 years can vote. Now it's only 21 years can vote, so 18 years can vote. Make the system in a way that it is easy or easier for opposition or any other party to lobby and to a candidate to lobby to become president. And also call for a grand measure national dialogue this time, release everybody held in captivity as a result of the Anglophone crisis, and do an inquiry for some of those people who have been unjustly killed. Some people say Chiruma was a government spokesperson, he insulted, he did that. Let me ask you this. Okay, let's say Chiruma lied, Chiruma said all those things. That he said it. Let me not say it, let's say he said it. But Chiruma came and said those things, he was saying it because those were official government position. Now you say no, Chiruma cannot be trusted, he said those things. Okay, let's stay like that. Now that Chiruma was no longer Minister of Communication, did government official policy change? It did not change. When Rene Sadi came into that position, did he not just continue? A government spokesperson has little to do. That's why even the budget of the Ministry of Communication is a list. It's small like this. It's small. The budget of the Ministry of Communication is small. When we were in the University of Boya, we did a research that was called a decade analysis of Cameroon's budgetary allocation and the place of communication. And in that research, we collected 10 years of budget under the Ministry of Communication. It was a list, 10 million, 10 billion, I'm not up to it. It was a very minimal budget, 10 million or so, very minimal. Whereas other ministries have billions, millions a year. Government spokesperson, tell me, since Chiruma left, Is Genesa the not still following what they are doing? A government spokesperson is not a government decision maker. A government spokesperson say what the government, head of government, want that it should be said. And let me ask, at the time that Chiruma was Minister of Communication, who was the Prime Minister of Cameroon? Your brother, my brother, Young Philemon. So who should we blame for the Anglophone issue? Do you know that the Anglophone crisis actually dilapidated or went overboard because of Young Philemon? Who was the Prime Minister at the time? Our brother, Young Philemon. He was the one that actually called for the Interministerial Committee that organized the Interministerial Ad Hoc Committee, which was held in Bamenda and in Yaoundé. The teachers' owned, or the teacher Interministerial Committee was in Bamenda, whereas the lawyers was in Yaoundé. Chiruma was just there to communicate what the head of government, Young Philemon, and his team wanted it to be communicated, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Pobia, on official government position. Anybody who is put in that position will work on autopilot. Today we are saying that, oh, Chiruma is this, Chiruma is this. Don't trust Chiruma. Don't trust any political opposition party. Don't trust them. But there come a time where whether you trust your landlord or you don't trust, you have to pay rent. We are looking at how the system, how Cameroonians can vote for change. You are there saying, oh, Chiruma is this, oh, Chiruma is that. Opposition parties. If you go to any rally, let me tell you how to know a government or a CPDM satellite party. When you go to all these rally and they are instead insulting each other, they are insulting fellow opposition party, remove your shoe, run, 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 run. They are not serious. They are not serious. Chiruma was government spokesperson. Chiruma was not government decision maker. Who he was is the Minister of Territorial Administration, our brother, senior brother, father to many, uncle to some, Minister Paul Atanganje, who was giving directive for the Anglophone crisis, Minister Paul Atanganje. In fact, Minister Paul Atanganje is a decision maker because he's a permanent secretary to the Gulf of Guinea. Chiruma has never taken any major decision. Today, we are saying that, oh, Chiruma has monté the Sunday. And this confusion is mostly propagated by some of your opposition leaders. Some of your opposition leaders are the ones propagating this. I don't know why they are afraid of Chiruma. What has Chiruma done? If you are opposition, campaign alone now. Why do you call is Chiruma President Pobia? President Pobia is the problem, not Chiruma. You see why I say we have the dumbest opposition party? Let me explain. CBDM released an advert, official President Pobia's advert, using artificial intelligence AI. None of our opposition candidates actually seized that as an opportunity to condemn and to condemn it. That a president running for office that actually has an advert, use an artificial intelligence videos and images to show his record. Is it not a good enough position to start a campaign that Cabral Libi will go and be attacking Chiruma? And when I look at some of our opposition parties, I said they lack what is called strategic campaign strategies to tell them what to do. I can do a better job of some of their so-called strategies. Some of they just pick any party president and put that as a strategy. Let me tell you, in an advanced country, those running campaigns are not members of that party. They are people who are not members of that party. They are people whose job they are paid to strategize, to think strategy. Because at that time they are not emotional. They are on fact. They are on issues. That's why if I am running a campaign, if I pick CPDN campaign, I can galvanize a campaign better. If I pick a Bradley campaign, I can galvanize it better. If I pick Joshua Osei campaign, I can galvanize. Because sometimes when I look at this is weekend, how many of them have made major headlines? Just the fact that they went and just did one or two stuff. Look at Kenya. Look at Nigeria. Look at Malawi. Malawi just did an election. The incumbent Lazarus Chakwera was defeated by Mutharika. Sometimes when I look at when I look at the way in which our opposition parties are trembling. Some people thought that opposition, because they have been in the opposition for long, it is their right to be the ones to lead the opposition. Because they have been in the opposition for long, it is their right to become president. My brother, when your time has passed, your time has passed. In politics, there is no static. Who would have believed that Chiruma of 3 months ago will become the front runner? Today, everybody's attacking him. Oh, he just came from nowhere. Oh, he just came from... Where did you people come from? If not nowhere. Oh, he just came from nowhere. Oh, he just did this. Oh, he just came from nowhere. Oh, he has done this. Oh, he has monté. Oh, he has descended. Tell me, which party that thinks that you can win a general? My network seems to be dancing. Which party, in this, as it stands now, which party will tell you that they have what it takes to win a general election? I will be very, very honest with some of us here. We don't have opposition party. What we have, as in Cameroon, are a group of people who are confused, who confuse themselves as being in opposition. Because a normal opposition in this country, see, we have a lot to talk about. In Bia's 43 years, we have a lot that you can tell the common man. That's why I'm begging on Cameroonians that, like Professor Victor Jongo said, one of Cameroon's revered professor, hello, Song Derek, good evening. One of Cameroon revered professor actually said, Song Derek, my man, good evening, said that voters in Cameroon now should form a coalition of voters and vote for who they think can win the election. In fact, now, we, the voters, have been saying that we want people to come together, one opposition to come together, one opposition, right? We are the ones that have the voters card. So we cannot form a coalition of voters and say that we are supporting ABC. As it stands now, Cabral Libi spent his time in his campaign to insult Chiruma. 90% to insult Chiruma. You spend 90% of your time to insult Chiruma, as though Chiruma is the one who has actually asked you not to become so popular. It is so sad. And Joshua Ositu is following that line. They are afraid that Chiruma will take over their shine, right? As it has been said, Chiruma has come. That was the same thing that Maurice Kamto refused endorsing Chiruma. Because Maurice Kamto Professor Maurice Kamto know that if he endorses Issa Chiruma Bakari, the wave that Issa Chiruma Bakari will have, it will make him, he will become irrelevant. Professor Maurice Kamto supporters want Issa Chiruma to be their flag bearer. That is why you see Professor Maurice Kamto has not officially declared support for Bello Buba. But I will tell you, behind the scene, Professor Maurice Kamto is rooting for Bello Buba. He's rooting that Cameroonians to support Bello Buba. Bello Buba is older than Issa Chiruma. Bello Buba, in fact, Bello Buba as it stands now doesn't have the stamina to actually do Cameroon. See this Cameroon now. You need somebody who is a bit at that level. Chiruma is a bit and can actually be winnable. That's why you see the Anglophone candidates who have dropped out are aligning with Bello Buba. Because Kamto is rooting from behind. It is sad. We're in a system where opposition has decided to fail. But we, the masses, we, the people, will not fail. We, the people, will not fail. Anglophone candidates have failed themselves. Barrister Keremuna dropped out. He was in Tico to launch his campaign. No? Instead of him joining Joshua Osi, he went and joined Bello Buba. You are there shouting, we need Anglophone president, we need Anglophone president. The Anglophone candidates are there shouting, we need a Francophone candidate, we need a Francophone candidate, we need a Francophone candidate. You are there shouting, we need an Anglophone president. The Anglophone candidate are shouting, we need a Francophone president. And one thing that's striking, I take a side that my brother from Batibo, he dropped out, he went and supported Bello Buba. This would have been the best option. How? The three come together, pick one person to be their flag bearer. From that flag bearer, they now decide to support one person based on the fact that they will negotiate the Anglophone position. Let me be honest with you, power is negotiated. You don't take power by emotion. Some people are so emotional. Oh, you don't take power by emotion. That's why Song Derek always say that Cameroon is a comedy republic. Comedy republic. Most of the time, I will actually disagree with him on some of those assertions that Cameroon is a comedy republic. But after what has happened today, when the campaigns have been launched, what I've observed, I can now align myself with Song Derek assertion that we seem to be in a comedy republic. In fact, Cameroon opposition are not just the dumpers. We don't have, with the exception of Chiruma, most of the opposition parties are dumpers. Let me tell you how they pick their strategies and how they select their campaign team. This, you know, you were to go for a presidential election. You have not gathered enough resources. You have not made yourself popular among the people. You have not been visiting the country back to back. Just when you know that we are, if to a presidential election, you come and declare yourself candidate, see, and you want to win the election. Let us look at the electoral map. The electoral map is clear, very clear. As it stands now, the highest proportion of voters, the center region has the highest, followed by the far north region. Followed by the far north region. So in the center region, the far north region, the littoral region. These are the three biggest voting blocks. The littoral region. After the littoral region, you have the west region. The west region. These are the four key regions. After that, you now have the Adamawa. After you have the Adamawa, you now have the northwest. After you have the northwest, you have the east, the south region. And you have the other regions that make up the electoral map. So a candidate that must win this election must have a base in far north, in extreme north, in center, in littoral, and in west. That's the electoral map. While we are there, saying that, oh, we need, I don't understand why they hate Chiruma. Personally, Chiruma has said things that I could not believe. But I'm a journalist, and I know what the role of a government spokesman is. Let me give you an example. In the United States of America, when Joe Biden was president, the government spokesperson, the White House spokesperson, in fact, government spokesperson, at the time was Karine Jean-Pierre, a black lesbian girl, Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre will come to White House press briefing and defend the undefendable. She would defend the undefendable, Karine Jean-Pierre. After that, as Biden was defeated by Trump, Biden left office. Karine Jean-Pierre was now saying the contrary things that she had earlier agreed on. And she was saying that I was just reading what was given to me. I was just reading what I was asked to do. That was Karine Jean-Pierre. He said I was just reading what I was given to read. That's Karine Jean-Pierre. That's why I say that Chiruma, by what he said as a government spokesperson, that he has done that, because the decision making in Cameroon is not done by the Ministry of Communication. It's not done. The Ministry of Communication doesn't do that. Why they are afraid of Chiruma? I want to urge my dear brothers and sisters in diaspora. Rally yourselves. Tell your people back home to vote for the person that you want to change Cameroon. Rally yourself, vote. I'll tell your people to vote for the people that they think will change Cameroon. Because as it stands now, many say they don't think that elections can defeat President Pobia. But I will tell you unequivocally that the bigger the numbers, the more difficult it is. If I ever Cameroon, the bigger the number, the more difficult it is to reach the election.
Oh, my brother, grandfriend, my grandpa, Likami Francis, Mola Omane, never been Aliyai, Temele Omaja. Whether we like it or not as it stands now, Chiruma is the one that has the cat. You need a devil to catch the devil. And that is why when a crime occurred, when there's a crime, a big crime in a city, police will go to the prison and look at a criminal who has committed that kind of act. They will ask that criminal to explain what could have been the motive and how that kind of a crime is being planned. It is true that which the police will follow and see how they can trace and get the criminal. And that's why even when an act is done, the police will take you to, will ask you to show them how you perform the act right to what happened. That is so that they will have an insight. And if you want to say that you want to use what's called insider, no insider can change Cameroon. No insider, no outsider rather, no outsider can change Cameroon. You see, President Pobia, it is only an insider that can change it. Like what is happening in Gabon. When Ali Bongo Odimba, when Ali Bongo was removed, who removed Ali Bongo from presidency? It is an insider, his brother, Briggs Olinge, who had a year, and he had to jail Ali Bongo, jail his family. Ali Bongo, Briggs Olinge had it up here like this. It's an insider. All the jobs being performed by all dictators being removed, they are removed by insider because an insider knows the road that you don't know. This time, we don't care where the power will go to. If the power wants to go to the north, let it go to the north. Because at least Chiruma is promising a 3-year transition. And that is, and we know, see, let me tell you, averagely it takes 10 years for a president to consolidate powers. 10 years. And Chiruma cannot beat that record. It will not. Because after President Pobia, if President Pobia is out this year, no president can actually challenge it, can be that, more than that level. Yes, brother Sinjo Armstrong. You say you have a contribution to make. Sinjo Armstrong. So I have a contribution to make. Let me see if I can add you. If my network will permit. Sinjo Armstrong. So what I'm saying in essence is that whether you like it or you don't like it or if you think that your community is going well in Cameroon. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jarvis.
Right on.
Well, okay. I must appreciate you all this while be following your presentation as far as Cameroon election is concerned. And I'm excited with the analysis so far. I want to say that I totally subscribe to your presentation, and that has been the same analysis I had from the beginning, ever since the race for presidential race started in Cameroon, where candidates started declaring their intention. Yeah, I want to focus more on Issa Chiruma, just to buttress some point which you have highlighted here. Like I always said in other platforms, Issa Chiruma know the way. Many Cameroonians are tempted to think that no, Issa Chiruma is a betrayer, and so on and so forth. But like you said, the Ministry of Communication is a key ministry, but it's not a decision-making ministry in Cameroon. Yeah, and if we want to look at Cameroonians are beginning now to think that no, Issa Chiruma is a problem. Oh, he said this, he said that. He has made it categorically clear that he was just acting as a minister of communication. He must have been outing, and that as a Minister of Communication, he has the prerogative to defend the state and government policy. So I think Issa Chiruma has come out to say that this is where the problem is. And that is why you see Issa Chiruma is trending all this way, because he has an approach that is completely different from other opposition party that we have. Issa Chiruma has, and when he's talking, he articulates very convincingly to electorate, and he identified that this is the problem, this is a solution. This is a problem, and this is a solution. And so far, his political, social, economic program for the country that has presented, I think is very okay and convincing for Cameroonians. So, like you said, I think what the other opposition need to do is to rally behind Mr. Issa Chiruma. I think that is the only competent person who can dismantle the current UD government in place. But we see opposition party, we have seen Ateke Seta Casting, we have seen today Barrister Akeremona, who has joined Bello Buba Magari. Bello Buba Magari seems to be a long-time seasoned politician, but he appears is very lack politics. Bello Buba Magari through the campaign, you will notice that he cannot articulate, he cannot communicate and very convincingly to electorate. But we see someone like a very level-headed, brave Issa Chiruma. I think he has already started a campaign. He only held a meeting at the last week that was pre-campaign rally in Bafoussam. And when his campaign is coming up, we actually see how he's going to present his program. So I just want to argue you here that I think at this stage now, like you rightly said, Cameroonians to equally form a coalition of voters, since the opposition has failed at this level. Because even what we see Bello Buba Magari, Ateke Seta Casting, and Barrister Akeremona are doing now, to me it's late. Because it only goes to convince or to confuse Cameroonian population, especially those in the local areas, which I may find it very difficult to understand exactly what is happening, because on 12th October, all the ballot papers will be available. Oppositions would have done these things ever since, and not now. And whatever they are doing now is setting more confusion among the electorate. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to also ask you this question. When you look at the way Akabra Libi and they are attacking Chiruma, what do you make of that?
I think at this stage, we have always said that we see division among opposition. And I'm shocked that even at this level, 2025, a critical year in a country, opposition are still divided. I followed Karbalibi rally, and I find that most of the time he spent time criticizing opposition, especially Issa Chiruma, which to me should not be at this level now. We also follow what Honorable Joshua Osti now again during an interview. He said, to me, all those things are not very necessary at this hour. Opposition criticizing opposition. No, I don't subscribe to it.
My brother, see,
yes.
wait till Musa go see for gate. How do we really get to this level that a candidate will spend the rest of his time to insult a fellow opposition? You mean the love, yeah?
It's actually terrible. See, from the beginning when Issa Chiruma actually declared his intention to run for to be a candidate, you know, from the beginning, many people have backslashed him. Many people said so many things. But you see, as the momentum began to gather, you realize that Issa Chiruma become very popular. He has been trending, and you notice that he has been receiving a lot of encouragement, endorsements from
major endorsement, not from any kind of people.
Yes, and from people from different high quarters, so you have received a lot of endorsement. So it will give it's a clear indication that Issa Chiruma has been able to explain situation to Cameroonians, and they have understood him. He has been able to explain the message very well. When you look at how Issa Chiruma, whenever he's articulating his project, he identifies a problem.
Yes.
In the system, he provides a solution. He said the solution.
Yes.
He identifies a problem. This is a solution.
Yes.
And when you look at it, he has a language that is appealing. He has a language that galvanizes people.
And he's a bit bilingual more than Bello.
Yes. He's a bit bilingual more than Bello, and that is the advantage that Issa Chiruma has. You look at Issa Chiruma during his pre-campaign rally in Bafoussam, I think last week or so.
Yes, yes.
He went there. He was speaking in English. At the amusement of everyone. Look at Issa Chiruma during the constitutional hearing at the Constitutional Council for Electoral when the list was rejected. Issa Chiruma was there. He was there. He was there. I think he was the first person to react as opposition leader about Camto.
He was the first person. He went and he was with Camto. The next day that there was to give the verdict for Camto, even though he himself had nothing to do with the council that day. He went there, stood by Camto. And when the result came out that Camto was rejected, he was the first person to issue a statement condemning the decision, calling it a political witch hunt. But the rest of these so-called parties, none of them could find it worthy to really speak. They never spoke till date. They never spoke.
So, that explains why Issa Chiruma is having a lot of support and all this, because you look at the way he does his things, it's quite completely different from other opposition. I have not seen Issa Chiruma actually in most of his outing attack an opposition. No.
Yes.
And I don't think
he's on policies. He's on policies and the bias government. Policies and the bias government. His policy and the bias government.
From the beginning, I thought Issa Chiruma, maybe Honorable Joshua Osei would have been a perfect match to agree on something, because when you look at the political, social, economic programs of Issa Chiruma, most of the things that he highlighted are things that Joshua Osei also indicated. So they have some similarity. But again, with the outing of Joshua Osei, the recent interview, it shocked Cameroonians. It shocked Cameroonians. Yes. So it came as a time bomb to Cameroonians, because one would not even expect it. Now, people...
Right on.
And now there are a lot of arguments. People say that Chiruma is a betrayer, and I asked in one platform where we're having engaged in a debate. I said, when you say Chiruma is a betrayer, I don't get it. Now, Mr. Tah, if I decide to join a cause, or I join in a cause, right, to improve on the life of people in a community, and we agreed that no, we need to make things better for the people in the community. Along the line, if I notice that no, this is not what we agree to do, being an honest person, I make an attempt to reach out to you, that no, or to draw your attention that we agree to deliver the service. Yes. And attempt to reach out to you fail, and being someone who is very honest, have conscience, I said no, we make an engagement. This is not what we agree. And if I decide to back out, I don't see that as a betrayer. I don't see that as a betrayer.
Of course. Because when you come open and explain why, you actually backed out.
Yes, when I come open, I explain to people that this is why I decided to back out from the engagement that Mr. Tah Jervis and I got engaged. These are the reasons. These are the reasons. These are the reasons. And if the people see the reason for me, I don't think that it's a betrayer. It's not a betrayer. It just being honest. It just being honest. And so the backslide and the blame on Issa Chiruma is actually working in favor. In fact, in this presidential election, is one of those people heavyweight candidates in this election.
Yes.
Weight candidate in this election. And let me just please also see the opportunity to comment on the outing of Professor Maurice Kamto. Yes, of not the issue of Professor Maurice Kamto saying that given a condition, if that for Issa Chiruma available Marguerite to get president, but I don't think that is not supposed to be like this. No. That is why I think Professor Maurice Kamto is greedy. Professor Maurice Kamto, it's not fair enough. It's not fair enough. Because I think that at one moment I want to feel that he's afraid of the fact that with the popularity and the momentum that Issa Chiruma is gathering, he might overtake him because municipal elections are coming up in 2026. So I think that was not a very good action from Professor Maurice Kamto. Because
the thought you have is the right thought, because that's just the reason, and which means sacrificing the nation at the behest of municipal election. What if next year President Bobia decides to extend it?
When next decide to extend it? So you see that, and it's going to work. It's going to work a lot on Professor Maurice Kamto come when municipal election comes up, because it's not easy. This is the second time that he's leaving his militant confused at the crossroad. In 2018, when he decided not to go for the municipal election, he left the militant at the crossroad. And just even now, when his militant was waiting, his supporters were waiting to hear a verbal statement from him. I think at one moment, we need our politician, especially opposition, need to understand that the country interest is first rather than our personal interest. The country interest first. And if we look at what Issa Chiruma promised, a 3 years transition. All those things, I think, is very nice. So, Cameroonians are beginning to understand and see reason with Mr. Issa Chiruma, and that is why Chiruma is trending the way it's trending. I'm sure he has maybe started his major campaign rallies. Yes. Issa Chiruma is someone who knows the system. Issa Chiruma is someone who has been a long-time politician. Yes, he has been a long-time politician. I don't see any reason why people should want to think that no, it's a betrayer. And I don't subscribe to that. That is not betrayer. It's not betrayer. It's not betrayer by my own reading. Yeah. So as of now, I think Issa Chiruma is one of those heavyweight politicians that was even expecting Akeremuna and Ateki align with him. Bello Pereboba Magari seems to have not completely resigned from the New Deal system.
But that's a fact, because
yes,
the women organizer of his party campaigned the other Bamenda for CPTM, but she's still with the party campaigning actively. If you cannot, I will force you to resign, or I will remove you from the party. Second, he's still campaigning with vehicles that have CA, car administrative. That's, excuse me, assisting car administrative to do campaign. The third issue is the Secretary General is still Deputy Minister, which you said, in fact, he said, je n'ai pas dit à un camarade de moi de démissionner. Donc, which means I have not asked anybody to resign. Which means then you are telling us that you want to become president, and the Union for Change asked him one question: are you sure you have resigned from the Bias government? He did not answer.
He did not answer. That's where the problem is.
That was when they promised. That was why. That was the red flag.
Yes.
Then they asked him, can you commit to a 3 to 5 year transition? He refused.
You understand? So Cameroonians are not seeing, and Issa Chiruma is someone who came openly through a press conference. We have not seen Bello come to a province. Even the last press conference, he was just dancing around, beating around the bushes. He was not coming out straight. He was not coming out straight. And I want to just seize the opportunity to correct something to make a correction, because when Issa Chiruma was in Bafoussam, videos circulated in Bafoussam, and people say no, crowd pooling is not an election. Have those people register? Have they registered? One thing we need to understand in politics is that crowd pooling plays a very important role in politics. One, crowd pooling in politics, especially in political real life now, weaken your opponent, mount pressure on your opponent. That's what people don't understand. It weaken the opponent, it frighten the opponent, and it mount pressure on the opponent. Crowd pooling in a context like this, another advantage of crowd pooling in a context like this is that people take advantage of the crowd pooling and communicate their programs. Crowd pooling in a context like this, it attracts national and international media to give it visibility. And that is how people get to know. That's how potential voters get to know about the person. And that is how the message of the person who is pulling the crowd easily gets communicated and goes beyond. Crowd pulling during a context like this, it also offers the person an opportunity for potential voters to cross carpet easily. Take note, they can easily cross carpet with crowd pulling, because people can be convinced that this crowd that this man is pulling definitely is having a message that people are following him.
It builds a momentum.
Yes, it builds momentum. So people are just saying that the one is pulling crowd. Have the people registered?
Zakaria Ashum has written that crowd pulling motivate others, which is true.
Exactly. So crowd pulling actually make a lot of potential voters, people who have voters card, who are following up to change their position immediately. Same like politicians from one carpet to another. Voters also crosses carpet. At this level now, a lot of voters are going to cross carpet. You agree with me that when Chiruma announced the candidature, he received a lot of backslash. People insulted him. But if you have been following what is happening on social media now, if you have been following what is happening on other media, you see that now people are beginning to change their mind.
Just a minute. Somebody has written Wamcho Rene Fru that crowd pooling does not have any positive impact in Cameroon politics, period. It's a lie. Let me say why he has. My sister, after watching Chiruma's movement in Bafoussam, my senior sister, told me that it be like I go vote now for their Chiruma. The way people don't support him now, man, no go waste my vote for Maui no win, or better vote for Chiruma. Go be like say get population where go win. You see that notion? That is someone closer to me giving that kind of reaction. What of those whom I don't see? So to say that it does not have impact in Cameroon is a big lie. And that's a lie that Cameroonians have been told that Cameroon is unique. Cameroon is unique. It can never happen. It can never happen. What can never happen?
See, it's a big lie. Let nobody convince any person that crowd pooling does not play a very important role. Even if it does not play now, it plays in the future. It builds momentum. It makes you have a base. So let nobody lie you that crowd pooling does not have an impact. It's a lie. Ask the current regime, they will understand. People who are close to the current regime, ask them. they will understand that.
That's why they buy voters. That's why they bring people from different areas to attend their rally. Because they know that when people start seeing their rally with that momentum, it's easy to convince people to come and join their party.
Exactly. So for it is very dangerous for small political party moving around. They don't even have crowd. It loses morale. It's very dangerous. People should not even say that people will not have impact. That's why sometimes when they say, are those people there? Do they have voters card? Do they have this? It's not about voters card now. People, a lot of potential voters are crossing carpet. Just like example that you rightly said about the sister who told you behind. A lot of potential voters are crossing carpet, and ever since sometime I've been trying to share information about this policy. Many people have come to me and said, no, this is a Chiruma like this. Some even regretted. I wish I have registered, had a voter card. Like I would have voted for Chiruma.
And that's why I was telling people that register. Something may come within the line of the election. Something may just pop up that you regret that. Oh, if I knew I would have registered. Register. I'm just waiting. Don't say no. And like you said, I also have people who are regretting to not have registered.
Yes. The lady told me when she commented on my statement and told me very clear that I wish if I had registered. This I heard that way. If I be registered, in quote, if I be registered, I have a vote now for Issa Chiruma. So a lot of people are arguing, are regretting why they didn't register. And I think I had before about 1 month ago, I had an link-up program on with Joseph Wendo. We hammer on this. Now people should register first. Don't begin to say that nothing will change. Don't say that nothing will change. No, you have to first of all register before you begin to see, because along the line things can change very well. And the truth is that we have close to more than 25 million Cameroonians. Yes. We can say that, okay, maybe about 18 million out of voting age. 18 million out of voting age out of that 25. Then the Lekam say more than 8-point-something million people have registered. Which means you have 10 million people who are potential voters who have not registered. Those 10 million, Mr. Tah, those 10 million people are people who are saying that they are people who do not like the current regime, and they are saying that nothing will change. As that those people are registered. So we see that we are actually the problem.
You're right.
Actually the problem. Because yes, when I ask 1, 2, 3 person, why don't you want to register? Nothing will change. Yes, nothing will change. I said, but now do you know that you are the one saying nothing will change? You are actually the problem now. Because you are actually giving an upper arm. Now just 8 million people. Those 8 million people vote. Who will share among 12 candidates. And understand that out of these 8 million people, we will have people that will not vote. Again,
yes.
Maybe at the end of the day, we have about 3 million people that will vote. We will distribute it among these people. And a good number of people will say that nothing will change. They don't want to register and vote. They are not interested. Those are the people who are angry about the current system. But yet they want change. Yet they want change.
Wow. Well, my brother, you're right. I totally subscribe to what you're saying. Tomorrow, same time, maybe if you are free, we'll have a conversation on this, on the state of the race, and looking at what is happening. So that today, let's just wrap up. Any other thing you want the voters to understand?
No, the only thing I want to say is that I want to subscribe to what you say, to add my voice to say that, okay, at this level now, where we were Cameroonians, a cross-section of Cameroonians were actually hoping that the opposition were going to come out with something good. Let them not lose hope. Just like Riley said, we can also have a coalition among voters. Let the voters now form a coalition and decide where to go. Because that is the only thing now at this level. The ball now has been placed now in the hands of the electorate. They have the hand now to decide. That is the only thing I want to say.
Thank you very much. All those who have participated, thank you. My brother Zakaria Ashum is asking panelists, you too can be a panelist. This is an open debate. Nobody, if you want to join tomorrow, You join when we are live. We will invite you in. You join and give your own view. I want to thank you very much, my brother, from the town of legendary hospitality. You say that God should continue to guide and protect you and keep you safe until we meet again. What matters is your matter. Stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.